families of young men, young women. On the Clare's Home ward, all of the young men met together, from scouts right through till they turned 18 and left home. And we would go camping back in the headwaters of the Old Man for 10 days at a time. And we'd live on canned pork and beans and chuck wagon dinner and potatoes and bacon and eggs and fish. We fished every day except Sunday. And we'd catch enough fish to feed 30 scouts. Oh yeah, I loved it. We had some really good experiences. And you know, they say bad experiences make good memories. We had some of those too.
What's your most memorable camp that you went on?
When I was a kid, it was my first camp, and we had only one tent for 32 of us. It was a military squadron tent, and it would take us half a day to set it up. We'd have to cut the center poles and the side poles, and then we had 3 patrols. Each patrol had a corner, and the 4th corner was for the scoutmaster and the food and stuff, all the supplies.
It's a wonder that you were in bear country and yet you had...
We were in bear country, but you know, all the time when I was a kid, I never saw a bear back in that country. Now you probably would, because there's more. There were cougars up there. One of the leaders saw a cougar once, and that was it. But we always took a camp dog, and they would warn us if there was anything around. Well, on the way home, we took an extra day, and we decided, we came through the Porcupine Hills, and we were on just wagon trails. They weren't gravel or paved roads. We needed to camp out one night, and we decided we didn't want to set this tent up again, so we just unrolled it on the ground, and then we slid under it, you know, so just our heads were out of the and it was a beautiful night, you know, and a bunch of the kids went into a grove of trees, quakies, and just, you know, they're going to sleep out. And about 2 o'clock, a huge thunderstorm came through with lightning and rain, and just poured down us. And these kids were out in the trees, came running over, and they lift up the tarp of the tent and tried to slide in. Well, we were soaking wet.
Water came splat.
It's the wrong time to not set up the tent.
So that night before, I took my duffel bag with my clothes and just set it up on the tire under the box of the truck that we came in. So I had nice, warm, dry clothes the next morning. Nobody else did. And it took us a half a day because we had to plow mud. My mother could have killed the scoutmaster. When we got home, we were just covered with mud. Anyway, they made amends.
And it was a memorable camp.
And it was just great.
Do you like camping, Judy? Did you go on camps?
I like going camping with Richie to set up the tent and carry the backpack and cook the food.
Right.
I
just really enjoy. I can, you know.
Like Judy was Stake Young Women's president and we would do the 4th year pack-in, and we would actually hike probably 10 miles with our backpacks and stuff up towards Camp Impisa.
And that was fun.
And Judy let me carry the tent. She was gracious in that.
That's nice.
And I was in the Young Women's presidency the first time we did Trek.
Oh.
So that was in 1987, and that was a really good experience and very much a rough, but did you do trek?
I
Kayla?
haven't been able to go.
You weren't old enough.
No.
So it's a very pioneer experience, and that was a bit of a
And
stretch
we went
for
as
me.
children.
Yeah.
Really?
I was in the bishopric and Judy was in, so Judy was in one family and I was in another family.
And we had 3 of our children were there,
And then our,
and so they were in different families too, and we had some nieces and nephews, and we tried to make it so nobody was related in a family.
Right.
But we had too many, so Richie had some nieces, a niece, and I had a nephew, right?
yeah, and our daughter and her husband were one of the
Yeah,
Ma's and Pa's.
and it was a good experience.
So that was the first time like trek happened
In,
Yes,
in
in our
Lethbridge?
state.
in our stake.
So.
And some people from BYU came up
Oh.
to help us and organize and, you
Yeah.
know, all
So
of
since they had never done it before, then were there some kinks that needed to be worked out in later
Yes.
years?
Yeah, but the night that or the day we hiked, started out pretty nice, but it started to rain. And we were hiking through pastures, so lots of the mud was green because the cows had been there. And so we were just
And
dirty as could be when we got to camp. And we were following our wagon master, of course, and it got dark, and he miscalculated and didn't turn where we
He
should have
made a
turned.
wrong turn.
And so we went an extra mile, and by that time it was about midnight, and we were just,
Oh, no.
everybody was exhausted, and we had to turn around and come
Oh
back.
no.
But it was a very good lesson in no matter if you go off the covenant path, you can always turn around and come back. Might not be easy, but you always can come back. So that was a good lesson we learned that trek.
That experience has made good memories and
Yeah.
good teaching.
Yes, good teaching opportunities like
We
that.
slept well that night.
Yeah.
We've been on 5 treks.
Anyway, we were in charge of trek one time. We were the food chairman 2 or 3 times. We went as children that first time. Yeah. So we like trek. I think it's a good thing. Your grandpa, right,
Yeah.
really likes trek.
I think we used to do it every 4 years, so everybody would have a chance. When you were 14, you would be the youngest, and when you were 17, you'd be the oldest. Some kids even got to do it twice.
Yeah.
One time we had the Young Women's General President,
Sister
Sister
Bonnie Oscarson
came
to
up and
visit for it.
visited our trek, and it was raining, and it was like when we were going to have the
Actually-
fireside where she was, the rain quit.
Wow.
Actually, it didn't rain on ours, it rained on
It rained all around us,
all
but
around us, and these big thunder clouds were up there. The West Stake was up there doing something, and the East Stake was doing Real Nice Quest. But right where we were, it didn't rain that night. So she did get rained on with those other people. That's one of the things we've really enjoyed about this stake, this trek.